Rock Metal Nation, what is up? Real quick before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that Rock Metal Studios, the very same studio that brings you the Rock Metal podcast, is looking to help bands who are able to record their tracks either at home or in a professional recording studio, but need some help mixing. Go ahead and send me an email at therockmetalpodcast@gmail.com. That's therockmetalpodcast@gmail.com. We can go ahead and discuss mixing your tracks for free. The Rock Metal Podcast, episode 149 with Two Shadows. Rock Metal Nation, what is up? This is John from the Rock Metal Podcast. That sample you just heard was We Bleed the Same by Two Shadows, who I've got on the show with me right now. They've got an album called Transference, released back in 2016. Right now I'm being joined by vocalist Mike Horvath to share some stories about the music and share more info about the band. So Mike, welcome to the show.
How's it going?
Absolutely wonderful, sir. I was going to say spring is here, but we already had this conversation.
Yeah, we already had this conversation.
Shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you guys get spring in Vancouver, or is it just like either raining or sunny?
I mean, I always said that Canada in general only has two seasons, and that's winter and construction. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's funny. We kind of skip right over fall and jump right into winter.
Okay.
Because we don't get like the autumn leaves and the pretty scenery. We just get like rain and like oftentimes like we've lately been getting a lot of snow. But the funny thing is last year, the day before we were on our way to film the video for Ill Treatment and Dead, we actually ran into an issue because we were going to go just rehearse that night, but that day. And then so we were getting ready, and we actually got our van stuck in the snow, and we spent 6 hours shoveling ice and snow.
What?
It was horrible. It was not fun at all. And we were all just like, we all used to live together in a house. And then, like, yeah, so we just spent 6 hours shoveling snow, and it was crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, speaking of living in the same house together, let's go ahead and listen to that track, We Bleed the Same. All right, coming back from We Bleed the Same. Now, love the track. What's the story or inspiration behind We Bleed the Same?
I mean, growing up, I always was kind of seen as the weird kid or the person who, like, I used to, like, dress a very extravagantly, very androgynous almost. So people would kind of look at that and they'd pick on me for that. And I grew up accepting, I knew that I was going to be picked on. My parents, like, when I told them, like, I want to start wearing makeup and all that stuff, they were like, well, you're going to come under fire from people. And it's just a message to the people who have hatred in their heart towards people who are different to them, and just saying, is like, listen, behind your skin, behind everything that is on the exterior, inside we all bleed. We're all people, we're all the same on the inside. So why would you be hating on someone or have hatred in your heart towards someone just because their exterior is different from yours? So that's kind of where the inspiration came from to write We Bleed the Same. And it just kind of, it really came, it kind of came organically because we all went through that.
Is it weird that I was thinking of Darth Vader, let the hate flow through you, like as you said that?
Yeah, no, that's yeah. I mean, that might be the next song.
All right. Now, you mentioned you're writing some lyrics for it, so I'm curious, in the writing process for Two Shadows, or maybe just for We Bleed the Same, is it music and then lyrics and then music? Do you have like a book of lyrics and you just kind of, how does the whole thing work?
It's Tris will write most of the music, send it to me, and then I'll be like, well, I like this, and this, but could you change this and this and this? I'll shoot some ideas. I'll pick up a guitar and be like, well, try playing it like this, and then he'll re-record it. And then once all the music is figured out, I'll kind of take to writing the lyrics and the melodies. I typically go with writing the melodies first, just so I can like get an idea in my head of what I want to do, and then I'll write the words behind it. But then, yeah, and then what we'll do is we'll send it off to James, our other guitar player, and then he'll put a lot of the programming and electronics behind it. And that's kind of where, and then it goes through the process of like changing things about this and that, and then really in the end it just kind of comes into being a song, and it usually ends up sounding similar to what it originally was supposed to sound like, but like not, it sometimes turns into something completely different than what it was originally supposed to be.
Cool. Let's go listen to the next track, Irreconcilable. Rock Metal Nation, it's John from the Rock Metal Podcast for a real quick break to let you know that Jay over at Metal Mayhem Radio is looking to help you get your band in rotation on his station. So go ahead and hit up Jay at studio@metalmayhemradio.co.uk. That is studio@metalmayhemradio.co.uk. Just go ahead and say that the Rock Metal Podcast sent you. He'll get you into rotation on Metal Mayhem Radio. All right, come back from Irreconcilable. Go ahead and tell us about the story or inspiration behind this track.
Well, obviously, I like to call it the shitty love song, even though it's kind of the anti-love song, I guess, because
that's a shitty love song.
I was in a very toxic relationship where, we were, just kind of always fighting, always going at each other's throats, and it was just very, very negative, very toxic. So the song is pretty much just saying, like, listen, like, we can't reconcile our differences, and you just need to let it go. You need to let this whole thing go. So that's kind of the song and what it was, and it really came organically, just because that was such a hard part of my life that it was almost therapeutic for me to just kind of get it all out in the open and just be like, listen, like, this is what I'm feeling. This is exactly how this song is supposed to sound. And it's one of my favorite songs to play live, actually, just because it's so bouncy and it's like people really love it. And what we do is we get like everyone on the ground, and then like when it really kicks into the verse, you just get everyone to jump up. And when it happens, like, without a hitch, it just looks so cool to see the entire crowd go from like a crouch to just going crazy.
Yeah.
So that's what the song is about. It's just about a very dark relationship that I was in some time ago, and pretty much just kind of letting that go and kind of cutting the ties with that with that person.
But the sex was great. Or no?
No.
Oh, okay. All right then. Well, then
there was no saving grace, unfortunately.
And there is no reason for that to continue. So I'm actually curious. Do you find then that I guess where catharsis comes to mind, do you find the lyrics as a canvas to paint in a way that allows you to move on from certain topics?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the reasons I became a lyricist, is because I grew up having a lot of issues with anxiety and depression. So, like, of course, everyone's first songs that they write are absolutely terrible. But, like, I always loved writing poetry and lyrics and just kind of putting – because, I've never been the best at just being able to express just talk about things. So when I'm writing – I take all of that energy and I take all of the things that I'm feeling and I put them right onto paper, and it's so much I refuse to ever write anything on like my laptop or my phone unless it's just a quick idea, just because it's, to me, like, just the whole idea of writing with a pen and paper and just being alone with your thoughts is just so much better than having like your laptop and then like, oh, Facebook and all that stuff popping up. So for me, it's just like I lock myself in a room, and I drive myself crazy sometimes. Actually, it's crazy because I'll just be sitting there. I'll just be like, what am I supposed to write? And then I'll just be like, it'll end up. Usually, the crazier I drive myself, the better the song comes out. So that's usually how.
I'm gonna say that's where the anxiety comes from.
Yeah, exactly.
But obviously it works. So for Rock Metal Nation who dug the two tracks We Bleed the Same and Irreconcilable, if you go to today's show notes, www.therockmetalpodcast.ca, as a bonus, you can go and see the music video for an additional song called Ill Treatment. Now go ahead and take us through the story or inspiration behind Ill Treatment, as well as the music video, if you please.
The song Ill Treatment is essentially just like everyone has doubters, everyone has people who will say that you can't do this or that, and that's pretty much just the song that says, like, fuck you, essentially. I'm just gonna do. Oh, can I cuss? Or?
Well, you already did. Now I have to mark it explicit.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, just being like, F you to that person, and I can't. Oh man, I feel bad now.
You should feel terrible.
I should, and I do.
Good quality Christian programming.
Yeah, we are a good Christian band. We're children of God.
There we go. Perfect.
I can see that being on my Wikipedia page in some time in the future. It's like, and they claim to be children of God.
This is true. Well, technically we all are, right? So,
I mean, yeah.
Groovy. Now, for Rock Metal Nation's frothing at the ears, we believe the same, Irreconcilable, Ill Treatment. They want to go pick up the album Transference. When we pick it up, what should we expect?
It's a roller coaster ride. It's like from start to finish. It starts with Transference Part 1, which is the intro to all of our live shows. And then in the middle, you have Transference Part 2, which is kind of a little bit of a breather from all the craziness. And then it kicks, right back into the music. And that's what I love about it. It's just it's almost like the old vinyls, how they had the side 1 and side 2. So, like, you have, after Transference Part 1, you have, like, have this set of songs, and then after Transference Part 2, you have another set of songs that don't sound, nothing sounds the same on that album, and that's what I really like about it. And we definitely tried really hard to make sure that it was a roller coaster ride 100% of the way through.
Cool. Now, the next logical question on Rock Metal Nation's mind is, how can we find out more about you? Is there a website that we should go to?
Yes, you can go to www.twoshadowsofficial.com, and that's where you can pick up a bunch of merch. You can pick up our CD. You can see all of our tour dates on there, and that's where you can find everything Two Shadows is www.twoshadows.official.com. All
right, fantastic. Well, Michael, is there anything else you wanted to throw out there? I just wanted to thank you for taking time out of your day to come on to the Rock Metal Podcast and sharing Two Shadows with Rock Metal Nation.
Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we hope to see as many people out there as possible.
Rock Metal Nation. Hopefully you just found your new favorite band in Two Shadows. Big thanks again to them for coming on and sharing their music with us. Make sure to head over to www.therockmetalpodcast.ca to get all the information on the show you just heard today. And until then, rock on, Rock Metal Nation.